Picture this, a Power BI visual that shows the evolution of sales against the target, that shows monthly progress and shows the month name as well. And all of that in one visual. Well, you might say, it's not possible unless you use 3 visuals. Well, today I'm going to prove it is possible, and I don't have one variation for you. I have 2 variations in which you can achieve just that. So, let's not waste any time and head over to Power BI Desktop. So for this first option, we start with a clustered bar chart. And for this clustered bar chart, we have 2 measures, the target and the sales. Now later on, we will need a few more measures and you'll see in a moment why. But first, what we need to do is make sure that the sales measure is shown above the target measure, occupying the same space. So, how can we do that? Very easy. We go to the formatting pane. We go to bars. With all series selected, we need to go to layout and decrease the space between categories to 0%. Turn on the overlap. And then increase the space between series to 100%. And this way, those 2 measures are overlapping, showing the sales measure above the target measure. Now let's play a bit with the colors. Let's select the target measure, and for this we will select a lighter gray. And for the sales themselves, I would go with my trusty color, the dark gray QA303F. Just a personal preference, you can choose whatever color you want. So far so good, but we're missing the month's name. And in order to show them in the middle of the visual, we need to use the error bars. But if we go to error bars, we can only add 1 for target, 1 for sales. You can't add more than 1 error bar per measure. And this is why we need a few more measures. And the measures that we're going to use look like this. First of all, we have a variable that calculates the start of the year. Then we need to calculate the end date for each month. And here's how you can do it. You can add the end of month function, starting from the start of the year, and adding 0 months for the month of January, and then 1 month for the month of February, and so on until we get to December. Then we need to calculate the target itself for the month. In my example here, I have a daily target for each year. So, going back to the measure, in order to return the daily target, I need to calculate the maximum daily target for the selected year. And after that, everything is pretty easy. We multiply the number of days with the daily target. And then these needs to be replicated for all 12 months of the year. And now we need to add the measure to our visual. So let's add them all. June, July, August, September, October, November. You might have noticed I have not added December because after I started creating this visual, I realized that the last month is basically shown by the target. The problem that we have now is that instead of the sales measures, we are showing the November target. So, what we need to do is go to build and make sure that both the target measures and the sales measures are above the other target measures. With these settings ready, we need to go to the error bars. So let's go to formatting pane, let's go to error bars, and we'll start with the target for end of January. First of all, we enable it, and then for the upper bound, we will use the measure itself. So let's go to KPIs, target end of January. Now there are a couple of other things that I'd like to format, and we will start with the bar itself. For the color, I will choose white. You could choose any color that you want. The width will be 1 and the border size will be 0. Next, let's adjust the marker to make it ever so slightly bigger. So instead of size 5, we will use size 10. Now all you need to do is repeat these steps for each of those months. So let me do just that and I'll come back to you once it's finished. And just like that, I've added the error bars for each month. And yes, now we can see where the target for the end of the month should be, but we're still missing one last thing, the month's name. And you might think, well, then we can use the data labels for the error bars. So let's try that. Let's go to error labels and turn them on. Well, it shows the value, not the name of the measure. So let's see if we can choose the name of the measure. Well, we cannot, which leaves us with the problem. One that has a very simple solution, but it requires a bit more work. So let's turn off the error labels for now, and we can use a different label, the data labels. So let's turn them on, and again we do have the values, not the name of the measures. In order to do that, we need to add a different value for each of our series. So for example, for the target end of January, if we go to value, instead of the measure itself, we need to return the name of the month. So for that, well, unfortunately, you will have to create one measure for each month. The measures are really simple. They just need to return the name of the month, short or long, however you prefer. For this exercise, I'll go with the short name. So let's start with January and replace this measure with the one that we've created for the name. And bada bing bada boom, we have January. Target for the end of February, we go to value and we choose February. But you see, the problem is that if we keep them like this, they are added after the line, not before as I would like. So let's go back to all series, and for position we will select inside end. And all of a sudden it shows them exactly where we want them. So let me quickly change the other month, starting with the month of March, and I'll be back to you in a second. And just like that, we have created a dynamic visual that shows how the sales are comparing with the target for each year. Now, of course, you can use this for a sales target, or you can use this for a budget. You can adapt your measure to whatever your needs are. But if you think this is way too difficult to set up and it takes too much time and resources, well, let me show you the second variation, which will take a lot less to set up. For this one, we start with the stacked bar chart and the measures for it. Again, the sales, and instead of the target, we have a measure that returns the difference between the target and the sales. So here's how it looks. It calculates the difference between the target and the sales. And if the difference is smaller or equal to 0, it will return 0, otherwise it will return the difference. What that means? It means that if the sales are bigger than the target, it won't show anything for the to-target measure. Now you might ask yourself, what should we use? Because you see, for this one, we don't have the error bars. We don't have the error bars, but we do have the reference line, and we can use that. So let's go to reference line, let's add the line, let's rename this one to January, and it will be an x-axis constant line. Now for the value, we could go with a fixed value, let's say 150,000, but we need it to be dynamic, because not every year the target is the same. So instead of the fixed value, we need to choose a measure, and of course the measure itself is the January target measure that we created previously. Hit OK, and it works perfectly. Now, of course, we need to repeat the steps for all the other measures. Let me do just that, and I'll be back to you in a second. And just like that, we've added all the reference line for the target of each month, and they're all dynamic, changing according to the year that we're selecting. Now, of course, we are missing, you guessed it, the month's name. And you'll say, you know what, we'll use the data labels for the reference lines. So let's go there, let's select January, and turn on the data label. And again, it shows the value, not the name. But unlike the other visual, this is easier to fix. So let's go to data label and change the style from data value to name. Bada bing, bada boom, all said and done. Now all we need to do is go through each of these lines and do the same thing. Turn them on, style, name. Go to March, it should be here, perfect, turn it on, change the style from data value to name. Let me quickly change the other ones and I'll come back to you in a second. Now with all this done, all we need to do is play a bit with the formatting and make it ever so slightly interesting. Since we just dealt with data label, let's play with the formatting for them first. First of all, I'll change their vertical position from above to under. And then I would change their color from this blue to, I don't know, my trusty gray. So let's do that for all the measures, from above to under, and change the color. Again, let me quickly do that and I'll come back to you in a second with the next changes, because we have a few more. Now the next thing that I'd like to do is play a bit with the lines themselves. First of all, I just like to see them above the measures themselves, not above the whole visual. So, first of all, we go to line and we change the color from whatever we have now to the color of the background. Perfect. Next, you could play with the transparency. In this instance, I will go with 0%, but you can choose whatever you want. And the next thing that I want to do, I want to change the width to 2 pixels. Make it ever so slightly thinner. Now, of course, you know the drill. We need to go through each line and make the same changes. So let me do just that and I'll be back to you in a second. And just like that, we've created a new way to show if we've hit the target or not. And it is dynamic, based on whatever happens in the specific year that we select. Given the time and resources needed for these visuals, I tend not to use them very much. But one visual that I invest my time and resources in is the new card. And just to show you what you can do with one of them, I have prepared a full comprehensive tutorial that you can watch next. Oh, and by the way, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. This will help the channel massively. Thank you. This is Stelian signing off. Until next time. Cheerio.